Alright, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember to like the video. Welcome to the platform. If you're new, let me know so I can. Hi, Kali. How are you doing, Kali? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. So, the biggest topic right now is Copper's pen, Shalani. We all know the incident that happened there, and Mark Golding and the team, the brother Isaac Buchanan, Mr.
At the invitation of
Isaac Buchanan, Mr. Lothan cousins,
everybody.
They were all there. So let's hear what they had to say, because I'm not listening to it personally. Alright, let's hear what's going on, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm visiting Cooper's Pen community today at the invitation of Mr. Dennis Meadows and the team in North Carolina. We know that this particular piece of land has a long history and a complicated legal history. And my role here is not to try and get to the bottom of that today. But what has happened here is a calamity, a humanitarian calamity. And the first priority must be to restore the lives of the households who have had their homes destroyed yesterday.
Amen.
The government has brought some tents and provided other very interim forms of assistance, and it's a start. But the permanent relocation of those who have been displaced, in consultation with them, on lands where they can be permanently settled in a decent living condition, is critical at this time, and the government must proceed. The matter of lands falls directly under the portfolio of the Prime Minister as Minister of Economic Growth and Infrastructure.
Amen.
All of the land agencies of government fall under him.
Amen.
So he is in a position to expedite a solution to
Right.
this crisis.
Right.
And I'm calling on him to do so. Identify an appropriate location and make the necessary investments so that the people can be restored. That's the first issue. The second issue is the other households who are in jeopardy, because the demolition was not complete yesterday, and they have expressed an intention to return to complete it.
Right.
Now, while the Cooper's Pen property has sections of it with formal titled houses, there are another section which has very well established homes, concrete structures, properly built, but are in jeopardy because they don't have title.
Yes.
The question is, what is going to happen to them?
Right.
And I would call on the government immediately to begin a process of negotiation on their behalf to try and find a solution.
Amen.
The fact of the matter is that the last PNP administration did attempt to create a community under the Housing Act for these people. It was gazetted by the Minister of Housing. However, it was contested by the owner, and the matter went to court, and in the Court of Appeal, the matter ended, and the community didn't get any form of protection from the court at that time. So it remains to the government to find a solution for them. And I'm calling on them to do so. And time is of the essence, because as we've seen, the methods being used by this particular, whoever's behind this arrangement, are extreme. There's an allegation that the police were deployed in the wee hours of the morning. The young men were arrested and detained in jail in Falmouth until the afternoon. And during that period when they were away from the community, the demolition, supported by and protected by the security forces, took place. And as we know, elderly people have lost their homes, baby mothers, children who are going to school, etc., are all now in a very vulnerable condition. So the third point I want to make is a policy issue, and it relates to how private rights, as protected by the court, are enforced against vulnerable communities. There needs to be a mechanism to ensure that this sort of thing doesn't happen. We've seen it too often, both on public land. There was Clifton, there was an attempt in Pleasant Hill, in the Widersville area, in, I believe, is it Albion in St. Thomas?
Yes.
Were also demolished, and here at Cooper's Pen. So both on the public and private sector side, where you're going to be demolishing homes of people where there are vulnerable children, elderly, women, etc. It cannot just be that the law takes its course in a totally unregulated way without taking into account and balancing the needs, the rights, constitutional and otherwise, of the citizens who are impacted. I believe there needs to be an inquiry into this process, of how land rights are enforced in this country against residents who have been long-standing on property. As we know, private property in Jamaica, there's a 12-year limitation period, where if you're in adverse possession for over 12 years, you defeat the title of the prior owner. But we have instances where people may have been living for much longer than that on property and are still not having their rights protected because they are not in a position to do so themselves. These are persons who lack means to utilize the legal system because they don't have the means to do so. So there needs to be a proper inquiry into this with a view to coming up with a policy that balances the rights of our citizens, protects private property rights, but also protects the rights of the people who are vulnerable and who the state is there to protect. So those are the 3 points I want to make this morning, and I will hand over to my colleague. Isaac Buchanan is here from a human rights perspective. Lothan Cousins is here from Land and Works, and of course we have the Member of Parliament in waiting, Lothan, Dennis Meadows.
The Member of Parliament in waiting, don't you hear that? Hello somebody. Hey, I want thing, there's an art to listening, You see how well thought out Mark Bowling position is where this is concerned. He might protect, he might look on the both sides, and he might give you solutions, He might give the government directive for how they're supposed to angle this to make sure that it's never happen again, So, if this should ever happen again in the near or far future, God forbid, them can't say them never did get proper directive of how to make this be something that, not because you have a legal right, you're also breaking the law in terms of the person's human rights violation, the way how this thing is done. And the man talked about there's some other house, don't forget demolition, ladies and gentlemen. Queen, how you doing? There's some other houses that are supposed to be demolished. So this is not no plaything. The government need to act swiftly. They need to act efficiently to make sure that they protect the rights of the people.
By the government is something right that notwithstanding that there is private rights, there is a process and procedure to ensure that human dignity is always maintained. That is guaranteed by our Charter of Fundamental Rights. It would simply mean that when issues of right to privacy is breached, the security forces participation by the false imprisonment, the wrongful detention, these are matters that must be ventilated before the court so that this is not an exercise that can be repeated because it is lawless. Any conduct from the state that is not demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society means that it breaches the Constitution, and we must respect the Constitution in such a way that I am of the view that a restoration or a replacement, a relocation exercise by the government is something that must be considered and must be done swiftly. We must understand that many of us are still suffering from the Melissa experience. To come and see my brothers and sisters be placed in tents during hurricane season is unacceptable, and I don't want that to be lost. This is not just about property rights. There are human rights, and every Jamaican, the least among us, deserves that. Thank you. Right, that notwithstanding that there is private rights, that must be considered. And
they have the tools available to them that is misleading and that is not true. They have the tools available to them. The Local Communities Amenities Improvement Act was enacted in 1977 by Michael Manley because he foresaw circumstances like this. And I am calling on the government to immediately invoke that act to protect the residents that are to be impacted by demolition, and for those already impacted by demolition, a tent is not the solution. false, that is misleading, and that is not true. They have the tools available to them. The Local Communities Amenities Improvement Act. The Local Communities Amenities Improvement Act.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. Sorry about that. The local improvement. Thank you so much, guys, for letting me know that I am muted. The Local Improvement Community Amenities Act in 1997, Jamaica law that allows the government to declare informal or undeserved communities as special infrastructure areas. It grants authority to compulsorily acquire leasehold interests on infrastructure areas. It grants authority to compulsory acquire leasehold interest on lands to install essential amenities like water supply and sewerage. Key features of the Act: infrastructure upgrades, focus on bringing basic utilities like water and sanitation to local communities. Leasehold acquisition, empower the government to acquire leasehold rights on designated land to regularize informal settlements. Tenancy, protection, restricts changes to land tenancy in declared areas while improvement schemes are handled. You can review foot. So I see why Mr. Lothan Cousins has suggested and informed the government and informed the people that the government has an option legally to help these people, that they are not kicked off the land, and let them stay on the land and regularize them. It's all in the Local Improvement Community Amenities Act in 1977. So now all of the people them down there so that are labor rights, ladies and gentlemen, I want to vote for Andrew. I want to their copper spend. If Andrew Holness does not enact this, and if you guys don't demand it from him and their representative, don't make them come tell you say them don't have no other choice. And only did hear Mr. Cousins don't was there. But I am going to reiterate. I am going to enforce what the man is saying through my platform. You guys need to hold your government accountable. And you need to more accountable the person we have voted for. They have the power. They have the authority to use legal action, not illegal, legal action where this act is concerned. Amen? Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen.
Was enacted in 1977 by Michael Manley because he foresaw circumstances like this. And I am calling on the government to immediately invoke that act.
Immediately.
The residents that are
So Jamaica, you know, like tomorrow, you know, like now, you know, like August 14th, we're supposed to hear the Jamaica Labour Party come out with a press conference that they're going to enact this, enforce this law right here on behalf of not only the people of Copper Spend, but all the other areas in Jamaica that are squatter settlements. Amen. Amen, somebody. And that is the bottom line. If they don't do that, you know that they are not for the people. And we should get them out of power immediately. And I pray the Lord removes them immediately. Immediately.
To be impacted by demolition, and for those already impacted by demolition, a tent is not the solution.
Right.
In fact, these tents appear to be the tents that were donated by the Japanese government for the people for Hurricane Melissa.
Embarrassing.
Many of whom are still exposed to the elements.
Embarrassing.
Any government that cares about the people would have been here already. And they'll run and come because the opposition is here. But I'm calling on all well-thinking Jamaicans to think carefully about what...
Somebody said they might mess with my feed. Well, they must say I mess with your end, you know. Stella. They must say I mess with your end. You know, they do that sometimes, you know, them use them technology and may have 100 people on the live and next thing you know, then kick off 15 of them and then can't get no signal, then get disinterested and then gone somewhere else because we are burning the fire and I show the people them the facts and enforcing, you know, what the reality is that the government has something that they can do. And, you know, this is what they do. You get me?
Do you want for the future of this country? There is a distinction between one party and another party. And we are not necessarily supporting illegality. But one must remember that the issue of landlessness is something that dates back to the days of colonialization. And not every Jamaican is so lucky or so fortunate to be born in a family that has abundance of land that they can live on and farm. And so it is most inhumane. The member of parliament saying that she does not know or did not know is not sufficient.
Yes.
Elements of the state were involved in this demolition exercise.
Yes.
It is clear that the state was involved and the state must go the situation immediately.
Immediately.
And those are my comments.
Hey, Mr. Cousins not playing no man. You hear what the man say? It is clear that the state was involved or elements of the state. You understand what I deal with? It is quite clear, ladies and gentlemen. They can't tell anybody else anything else, but they can't tell we no foolishness.
Tents. And you place those tents on the very ground. The leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition. And his team. Lothan Cousins, spokesman and land. And I Buchanan, spokesman youth and human rights. They come rather quickly at my invitation, because this matter deserves national attention. It needs governmental attention.
That's right.
And what we see here, as the leader said, is calamitous. You give tents, you break down somebody's permanent castle, and then you rush and come bring temporary tents, and you place those tents on the very ground with the debris. If you're going to some of them, it is hot like a oven. The people of Copper Spend deserve justice, and they deserve better than this. Comrade leader has recommended some solution. Lothan Cousins also recommended solution for government to consider and move with a lackey to address this. This temporary foolishness can't work. God bless you. The leader of the opposition and his team, Lothan Cousins. And his team, Lothan Cousins.
I believe we can all agree that the People's National Party gave proper representation, ladies and gentlemen, to the people. And legally, the passion that this man has, um, equal to that of Mr. Golding, where human rights protection is concerned and the constitutional rights of the people are concerned. You understand? Let's read this article. It says Buchanan questions detention due due process in Cooper's Pen demolition. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this thing is deep.
Isat Buchanan, Western Bureau opposition spokesman on human rights, Isat Buchanan, has raised serious questions about the treatment of residents during the demolition operation at Cooper's Pen, Trelawney, alleging that up to 30 men were detained for approximately 13 hours as authorities moved into the informal settlement early Tuesday morning. Buchanan, who accompanied opposition leader Mark Golding and other members of his team on a visit to the community on Thursday, acknowledged the rights of private property owners but insisted that those rights did not remove the state's obligation to observe due process. Notwithstanding that there are private property rights, there is process and procedure, Buchanan said.
Exactly.
The government has a duty to maintain human dignity and deal with the processes, even as simple as the notice period.
That's right.
He said particular attention should be paid to the circumstances surrounding the detention of several men in the community. There were at least 19 to 30 men who would have been detained at 3 a.m. for 13 hours, fingerprints taken, photos taken, phones taken, Buchanan alleged. He argued that the circumstances raised questions about the residents' right to privacy as well as possible false imprisonment and wrongful detention. These are issues that touch and concern the government's responsibility, he said. The informal settlers said they were shocked and traumatized by the incident, noting that they were given little or no opportunity to remove their belongings before the demolition exercise began about 3 a.m.
Come on now.
About 20 homes were demolished. Residents said furniture, appliances, clothing, tools, and other possessions were destroyed, while one business owner reported losing equipment and stock. The detained men, who were taken to the Falmouth police station and later released, said they were told police were searching for guns but were not charged or processed. The residents acknowledged that they did not own the land but complained that they should have been given adequate notice to retrieve their belongings.
Oh God, man, that is fair, ladies and gentlemen. This was done in the most inhumane fashion. Mr. Meadows was on CVM.
Kind of state resources I saw deployed yesterday is cause for concern. This is a case where government showing anybody off any land. Let's get that very clear. But I think the government has inserted themselves.
Yes.
By obviously cooperating with the potential owner. Because it is no secret that the land at issue here has been or in the advanced stages of changing hands with a significant hotel interest. The strategy employed raises serious concern of what part did the state play.
Yes.
They weren't the demolishers, obviously, but what role did they play in facilitating special interests to demolish the properties? Kind of state resources I saw deployed.
Hey, you see the media house, huh? Hey, you see when they see the People's National Party in an interview and them a pin the government to the wall, them always try to use some type of style to cut them off. You see when the jail people end up on the show them get all the time in the world for land them playing. But we know what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. We know what we're up against. It's David versus Goliath, you know. David versus Goliath. That's how it go. More have to say thank you to the People's National Party. Isaac Buchanan, Lothan Cousins. Lothan Cousins especially, because Lothan Cousins reveals something. I think we all learned something from this. The local improvement. Let me screenshot it. Let me screenshot this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me screenshot this. The Local Improvement Community Amenities Act 1977. God rest Michael Manley soul for having the insight and the vision to literally put this law in place. And we know now that the government of Jamaica has a opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to use that act immediately in defense of the people of Copper Spring and any other settlement that might have a similar situation pending, right? And I want to put it on the screen for you guys. And give me a second. See it there. So I can read it for yourself. And I can screenshot this. Amen. You see that? See it there, Jamaica. The Local Improvement Communities Act 1977. Jamaican law that allows the government to declare informal or unserved communities. The government has the power under this law to declare informal or undeserved communities as special infrastructure areas. Look at this part right here. Tenancy protection. Restrict changes to land tenancy in declared area while improvement schemes are handled. Leasehold acquisition. Empower the government to acquire leasehold rights on designated lands to regularize informal settlements. Ladies and gentlemen, the government can literally do this a morning. If you're watching this, anytime you're watching this, anytime you catch this replay, the government can literally do this right now. They have no excuses, ladies and gentlemen. No excuses outside of not wanting to help the people. Or is it that the government has some underlined attachment to whatever it is happening in this area and don't want anybody to know? Could it be that they are aligned? Ladies and gentlemen, is that a possibility? I'm just asking. Because if you see that the government of Jamaica literally decided not to use this to defend the people of Copper Spring, Trelawney, or anyone else for that matter that is in a similar position, that is in informal settlements, then I leave you as hopefully a well-thinking Jamaican and not a die-hearted anything. Right? I leave you as a well-thinking Jamaican to ponder, what does that say about the government if they don't use this act? Again, I want to thank Mr. Cousins because I was not aware of this. And this taught us something. And again, rest in peace, Michael Manley. Thank you, sir. You are still serving the people of Jamaica after death because of the things that you did before you died. Thank you so much. Bless you and bless your lineage and bless your family. Amen. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen.